Now, you and I are familiar with this, but maybe the average public doesn't realize that, 98% of our work ends in no spotting of a tornado. So you go
Yeah,
out in the
yeah,
hopes, right? Um,
yeah.
how do you read a sky and position yourself? So take us through an average storm chasing day. What do you do? And
Well, I
how
mean,
does that
you
unfold?
on my average storm chasing day, I've got a little bit of an advantage over most people.
Yes.
uh, that being that I can always talk to everybody, all the meteorologists back at the Weather Network,
Hmm.
because my chase days are my active weather days. Back when it was a hobby, it was all up to me and maybe a couple of friends.
Right.
Now, because I'm working for the Weather Network, and trying to get out there for active weather, we often, the morning starts off sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's when we do our first briefings at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. So we'll sort of look through, sort of take a look at what's going on. I'll talk to, the meteorologist on the desk, and we'll sort of hash out okay, we've got a basic idea of what's going on today. Okay, it does look good. Well, maybe it doesn't look so good. So we're trying to figure out from there. At that point, I'll take a nap. And the meteorologist will continue to work.
Hmm.
Uh, or if I have to be really, really far, I'll start putting gear in the car and start getting ready to go.
Right.
Generally, right now, I'm staying in the Southern Ontario region. So it's never, I don't really have to go that far because it's either, 4 hours to say Ottawa or 5 hours to Ottawa and 3 hours down to Windsor. So
Right.
there's sort of, we can balance it that way. And what I'll do though is I'll take a very careful look at what the models are saying, what the short range models are saying.
Hmm.
But more importantly, day of, I'm really looking at what the atmosphere is actually doing. So at the atmosphere, if it's the models are saying one thing, but I look at it and say, you know what, there's a lot more energy that's coming in today. There's more, the clouds have cleared off more, so therefore there's that much more heating. I
Mm.
think the storms are going to do this. Or, if it's like, oh, I take a look at it and say, oh, you know what, the clouds have come in too much. We're just not going to get something. Or the front slowed down. So really understanding the atmosphere in the morning and throughout the day is absolutely critical. Now,
Right.
if everything's going the way I want it to, which means that the storms are actually going to do something, then at that point, all the gear goes into the car. I get ready to go. Quite often, again, this is a bit of a change from a hobby point of view. Um, I'll actually be doing the live morning show, talking about what may happen in Southern Ontario
Yeah,
that
right.
day. Yeah, like yesterday when we were looking at the remnants of Beryl coming through. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning getting ready for taking a look at doing everything, but at the same time, I did the whole morning show that morning, and we were talking about what do we expect to see, what's going to happen, potentially going to happen. Once that's all done, then I might have a little bit of time to sort of go back through, take a look at some more forecasting models, or in some cases, just right in the car and off I go to wherever I need to be. And usually I'll have a town picked out or an area picked out. So it might be like, oh, today I'm going to go to Grand Bend. That's where I'm expecting things. So out I go to Grand Bend. And then there's usually a lot of sitting around and waiting.
Yes.
you know. And
Yes.
so I'll be waiting for the storms to go up. At the same time, sending back footage or sending back little snippets of me talking about what's going on or what I'm seeing for the day to go back to the weather network that might go on air, might go on digital, sort of, what have you. At the same time, also communicating with the meteorologist. We're still hashing things out. Oh yeah, we're seeing this, that, and the other thing. And then once the storms start to go, things get very busy.